Hello everyone and welcome back to another average review, and this time we're reviewing something a little bit smaller scale than usual. The DC Collectibles 3 3/4 inch Guy Gardner and Larfleeze 2-pack. So starting off with the box, it's got a very simplistic and nice white and green color scheme. We of course get all the blurbs about what this actually is. The convention exclusive Guy Gardner and Larfleeze 2-pack. We have the DC Collectibles logo, a choking hazard. We have some credits to the guy who sculpted pretty much everything in the box, which is Robert Linders. He did a very nice job, might I add. An advertisement for the other figures in this 3 3/4 2-pack line, along with a very, very brief bio. We get some, I assume, prototype shots, since they have much nicer paint, but I would like to mention, the paint on these guys is very nice, but we'll get to that when we get to the figures themselves. We also got the Green Lantern logo on top, and yeah, this is a very nice box. It's simple, yet effective. As much as I like it, though, let's take these guys out of the packaging. Before I get into the figures themselves, I'd like to mention that the cardboard backdrop is a very nice piece of artwork of Oa. This would be pretty cool for some action figure photography. Okay, getting them out of the package, and we can see there's been a lot of work put into these teeny tiny little figures. Let's start out with Guy Gardner, since I don't like him as much. That doesn't mean I dislike him. This is a really good figure. He's got a really good sculpt, it's realistic, you can see all the muscles going through, but there's also some fabric tugs in the costume, which I think is a nice touch. The color scheme, fantastic. The white pops, the black is, it's a pretty good black, and I love the metallic greens used. Boots, super accurate to Guy Gardner, just like the gloves. The lines on the pants are sculpted in. Belt, really well done. The Green Lantern logo itself isn't sculpted on, but it's just like a raised circle. I don't think that's a bad thing. The logo's been very nicely painted, too. I love all the jacket details. He's got his ring on, and it's sculpted and painted pretty nice for the scale. My only complaint is the head, not the sculpt. The sculpt is very good. The paint job is a bit lacking, though. He's so pale. Looking at one of the images of the prototype, we can see that wasn't a problem. That looks fantastically realistic, but this, I thought his name was Guy Gardner, not Ghoul Gardner. But yeah, the sculpt is very nice. Paint could be better. Not too terrible. If you're wondering, here's a look at the back. Now, what I like better, though, Larfleeze. This is fantastic. His arms are super stretched and long. It's super unnatural and kind of creepy, but it works. It fits Larfleeze. A lot of the same compliments I gave to Guy, I feel the same for Larfleeze, Very nice metallic paints. Look at how shiny the orange is, and how well it clashes with the blacks and the whites. Well, these whites. The logo is a little bit yellowed, but it's also shiny. Once again, great, especially since Larfleeze, the only Orange Lantern still alive, is powered by greed instead of willpower like a Green Lantern. If you're wondering what happened to the other Orange Lanterns, Larfleeze killed them and took all their rings because he's super greedy. Now, I don't see an Orange Lantern. Oh, nope, there's an Orange Lantern ring right there. Not too, detailed of a sculpt on the actual ring. It's just kind of a blob, but hey, it's there. That's what counts. Got some nice costume detailing all around. It's very nice, and I love this head sculpt. It's amazing. It's got a nice black wash, I think. It might not, but it looks like it does. The eyes are painted nicely. There's some blood on these tusks, right on his snout, which I think is pretty cool. And these spikes, really well done. Here's a look at his back, if you're interested. Yeah, I think Larfleeze is definitely my favorite of the two, but these are some of the best 3 3/4 inch figures I have. Moving on to articulation, and these guys have the same general articulation scheme, but they're handled a bit differently in terms of range. Now, both their heads are just kind of on a ball joint, no up and down, they just kind of get side to side, and mine are a little tight. I'd like to mention, these figures are probably fragile. I haven't done research, but I'm going to try to be pretty careful with them. They have shoulders that can swivel back and forth and hinge upwards. Guy gets about 90 degrees. Larfleeze gets a little under. They also both have biceps swivel and single jointed elbows. Larfleeze, 90-degree bend, as does Guy Gardner. I'd also like to mention, this bicep joint was really tight on mine and kept going back to the same position, but I got it fixed up, so that's good. They both have forearm swivel, just sort of spins them around. Larfleeze is pretty tight, don't want to stretch him, especially with how thin his arms are. Now, they both have a reverse ab crunch and a diaphragm joint, which is very interesting. They both get this much hunch forward. Larfleeze definitely has a better hunch forward. They also both get a hunch back, which, once again, Larfleeze does it better. And they get a little side to side at the diaphragm. Guy Gardner more so than Larfleeze. They don't really get tilt though. Now, they have ball jointed hips. Guy Gardner, his kicks forward's about 90 degrees. Not any split in his legs. Larfleeze might be above 90 degrees, which is super impressive. A little more split than Guy. They also both have double jointed knees. Larfleeze has a pretty good bend, and so does Guy Gardner. They also both have boot cut rotation. It works like, well, how any kind of rotation does. And they have ankles that can move backwards and forwards. No pivot on Larfleeze or on Guy. But still, just like how these are some of the best looking 3 3/4 inch figures I currently have, they're also some of the best articulated that I got. Now, moving on to some figure comparisons, and I think it's only fitting to start out with some 3 3/4 inch Green Lantern comparisons. Starting off with the Mattel DC Universe Infinite Hero versions of Guy Gardner on the left and John Stewart on the right. And man, it's astonishing to compare a Simple Kids toy to this collectible version. I will admit, this guy's skin tone is a little less ghoulish, but I mean, come on. It's not even like a comparison on which one looks better. For some 3 3/4 or 4 inch Batman comparisons, we have the Mattel DC Multiverse Arkham City Batman and the Spin Master 4 inch Batman. Please note I've given him a bit of a custom paint job. For some more Spin Master DC comparisons, we have Flash and Wonder Woman, and the Spin Master versions of Superman and Darkseid. These two, like this Guy Gardner and Larfleeze, came in a 2-pack together. I think Darkseid works fine since he's meant to be big, but Superman's a bit too big for these guys. Same with pretty much all the other Spin Master figures. For some figures from DC's greatest competitor, though, we have the Marvel Universe versions of Iron Man and Captain America. These don't scale too well, but Thor and Hulk scale pretty well since they're meant to be big guys. Although, as is tradition for this series, here's the DC Collectibles Guy Gardner and Larfleeze 2-pack with Hit Monkey and Goliath. Now, in terms of accessories, this box is pretty lightly packed, but both the accessories are very nice. Guy Gardner, being, well, a Green Lantern, comes with a fitting construct. A baseball bat attached to a flaming hand, which snaps over his fisted ring hand very nicely. I also like the wooded texture on the bat. Very nice touch. Of course, it's also translucent, which is pretty cool. Larfleeze's accessory is a bit more unique, though. It's a construct of the Orange Lantern Corps member. I believe his name was Glomulus. I don't know, it's a very weird name, but this is a nice sculpt. It's a very weird alien-looking thing. He's got the Orange Lantern sculpted in. He's in a nice translucent orange plastic. It kind of looks like honey, like he's made of honey. But still, very nice packing for both of these guys, you know. Fun to have a Green Lantern with his own unique construct, and having a construct of another Orange Lantern is really fun. Now, overall, both these figures are a load of fun if you're careful and don't break them, and also remember to heat up their joints if they're super stiff and not willing to move. But the real question is, how much will this cost you? Well, it depends. On eBay right now, I'm seeing some of these guys in box go for $40, which I don't think is worth it, no matter how good these guys are. Luckily, I didn't pay that for mine. I got this at a comic book shop for $25. In that case, these guys are absolutely worth it. So, for some final thoughts on these guys, they have really great paint, articulation, sculpting, but there's a few minor issues I have, mainly the paleness of Guy Gardner and how fearful I am that these things are gonna break any second now. Still, they're some of the best 3 3/4 inch figures I have, so for that I'm gonna give them an 8 out of 10. They're pretty fun. Also, yes, the cardboard OA backdrop does look pretty nice in a display. Remember, if you've made it this far in the video, well, I hope you have a great day, 'cause you deserve it. Bye-bye.